We're back to the Neil Haley Show, and I'm excited to welcome to the program Tracy Poisner of Undeletable Dad. Tracy, how are you? And you know what we're going to talk about today? Divorced dads and dating. Really quick
Yeah.
topic, but it's not very easy. The dating world is a challenge, especially the dating app world. So, what are your thoughts and kind of seeing what's happening, talking to lots of divorced dads?
Yeah. Well, as you've been discovering yourself, right? It's not so much about the dating world with regard to how do you meet people or what do you do on an app, but like where is your head? Where is your energy in terms of connecting with a new person? Because when you've been like raked over the coals by a divorce, that is doing something to your self-esteem, to your ego, to your manhood. And what I was just talking to you a moment ago about is that, you know, you are creating your reality in every moment. This is the truth, okay? And I mean, that might sound all new agey, but you're creating your reality. And if you know it, and if you are in a really sovereign mindset about yourself, that where you feel and you know that you are in command of your world, then you can create intentionally what you want. But if you don't know that you're creating your world, it's the least confident part of you that's running the show. And so that least confident area of your mind is the one who's out looking for another woman who is necessarily going to reinforce the belief that you have about yourself. So it's so important to be good with yourself before you go out looking for someone else.
So you have to build some self-reflection, really understand what you're looking for and what you want and desire before you go out and date, it sounds like.
It's what I mean is that you have to know your own worth before you go out and date someone. I had this conversation with someone who said, well, I'm on a dating app now and I figure like I'm about, an 8 out of 10. And so if I can score a 9 out of 10, I'll be doing really well. I said, no, you have it wrong. If you don't know that you're a 10, don't go on a dating app. You are a 10 and you're out there looking for another 10 who knows that they're a 10. That's the only match that can ever work. Otherwise, you're going to find someone who is always going to, you're going to think that they're above you in some way and you're going to adapt your behavior. And like that's probably what you were doing in your previous marriage to some extent, or it's what someone was doing to you, making you feel less than what you really are. You don't want that again. So you have to work on yourself until you know without any shadow of a doubt that you are a 10 and you just need to find another person who knows that about you and who also thinks that they're a 10, and then you're a good match.
So how would you self-reflect? What types of work should somebody do? And then you could talk a little bit about what you're doing to help divorced dads after that.
In the coaching that I do, I use a process called shadow alchemy, where we look for those little voices in the back of your head that are bringing you down, that the negative beliefs, the limiting beliefs, the negative self-talk. You can't normally hear it because it just sounds like your own voice talking to you. It sounds real, but all of the self-talk that we do is negative. It's all an illusion. You don't have a voice in your head that's going, "You go, guy. That was fantastic. Man, you're the greatest," right? We don't talk to ourselves that way. It like unconsciously. So you have to know that all of your self-talk is negative and it's lies and illusions. And you have to start to catch yourself doing it and saying, okay, that's some BS. That's not true what I'm telling myself right now. And asking those questions, is this really true? Like, is this really true what I'm saying to myself now? That's kind of the first step.
So you're listening to your subconscious lots of the time, so that when you're out of the conscious into the subconscious, that the negative thoughts are not coming to your brain, especially in the dating world about, am I really ready for this? Am I looking for the right person? Or am I looking at all the self negativity that I've dealt in my relationships and bringing that to the table in the next relationship when I'm having these conversations with women?
Yeah, what you don't want to be saying is this the best that I can do? Should I be accepting this person because I'm not going to find someone better? This is the best I can do. That's the mistake, because that's never a thing. Like there is a perfect person for you if you accept that nothing but the best will do, nothing but a perfect match will do. And that doesn't mean that they have to have this kind of body or that kind of hair or making this kind of money or whatever, right? It's about knowing what your value is and insisting on being valued in that way by the person in front of you, and valuing them at
The
their
same.
highest level as well, right?
And if you're not,
So
it doesn't work. Wow.
yeah.
Hmm. How do you kind of know it's a match? You feel it? I mean, especially working with lots of divorce vets. So this is the biggest thing I think that so many people are talking about today. How do you know it's a match, especially on the online dating world?
I am not a dating coach. So
That's
this is
right.
not
Okay.
this is not my wheelhouse. But the thing that I see too many dads doing is settling for someone based on them being good enough, and also based on filling their childcare needs. Because when you're
Oh
a divorced
no.
dad and you have some custody issues, you need somebody who's going to be at your house after school. You need somebody for those weekends when you're working, or those overnight shifts or whatever. And there's a huge temptation to settle dating wise for somebody who checks off those boxes of that my kids like them and they like my kids, and this is going to like save me a ton of hassle. There's going to be somebody to drive to soccer practice, you know.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Terrible.
don't think that anybody thinks that consciously. But it would be just like moving in together too soon, because you're going to save a whole rent, right? And it seems to make so much sense. Like everybody's going to pay half the living expenses, and it feels like a win-win. So you kind of jump into a living together situation sooner than maybe you otherwise would, because there's so much cash on the line.
That's tough because I've heard these stories and the rebounds. I listen, I guess, because I'm a talk show host. When I'm on dates, I learn so much information. I could write a book already on it. Best
Yeah.
place. And everyone that's dating me now is going to see this interview. Good. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
This is just, again, it's called my YouTube channel. I'm not going to bring up any of the stories, but I'm just giving you that point. Women, men need to understand that they have to, and this is a big thing. If I talk to a woman, they don't know what they're looking for, and they don't know what they're looking for in a man, they're not ready to date.
Right.
Bottom line. Bottom line. Best place to find information is a couple places, right, Tracy? If you're going to talk about the other business now, too.
Sure. Undeletabledad.com is where you can find me. And pretty soon I'll have bachfloweralchemy.com up and running.
All right. We appreciate it, Tracy. Thanks again.
Thank you.
You're listening and watching the Neil Haley Show, and we'll be back in just a moment.